Haley is with me. How's it going?
Hey, Kenny, how are you?
I'm good, good. Thank you for being on the show this evening. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, you are not only are you a solo artist, but you're part of a all female group. We'll definitely get into all that in a matter of moments. But we'll focus on you as a solo act first. How did you get starting into music?
Well, I started. I'd always, sang in church with my grandmother and my aunt. We sang three-part harmony when I was a kid. But I started actually writing songs when I was 12, and yeah, from there, that's when I started. I probably had written around 100 songs by the time I was like 17. So that's when I started recording and um, started to take it more seriously, I guess.
Were there
But
anyone?
yeah, that's how it started
Oh,
out.
yeah. So were there anyone in particular, like artists out there that inspired you, that stood out to you, that made you want to get into music per se?
Oh yeah, there's so many really, and my parents were school teachers, and on the side they were antique dealers, and they always collected records, and they played a lot. So I got exposed to a lot of different genres of music that way. And I always loved Hank Sr. I loved Otis Redding, a lot of the 60s, 70s. I really, really loved all different types of music. But with my writing style, it was always more folk, Americana, country, kind of in that, in those genres. But I mean, as far as like any more specific artists, and then a lot of like Sheryl Crow, Jewel, like some of those, around the age I was growing up were really popular. I listened to a lot of that.
I definitely like the names that you mentioned. You definitely show some versatility. Um, you mentioned country music and you mentioned Americana. Obviously, country music is definitely been a popular genre for such a very long time. There are people that may not be familiar with the Americana genre. For those that may not be familiar with that genre, how would you best describe Americana in your own words?
Well, to me personally, it's very folk. I mean, I feel like it's kind of where you fall in between genres, almost. Kind of like a lot of the Americana sounds country. I mean, it kind of blends depending on what song. Like Chris Stapleton, for instance. Like he's country, yet he's also Americana. Like he kind of falls in between. It doesn't really specifically sound like a commercial country artist, So I think that there's a lot of artists like that just can go either way.
So I've been familiar with Americana for a couple of years now. I have been an advocate for supporting local music, and for the most part, I've been open-minded. Listening to all types of music in the local music scene. I live in Kentucky, and I hear all types. And I've run into some friends that are Americana artists, and they take pride of that and getting that genre out there in the local scene. So I like the sound. I like you know the storytelling aspect, and I feel like that's what country music is at its best. It's with the storytelling. I mean, sure you have some, I'm sure you'll have some party songs, have a good time, hear a little twang every now and then, but the storytelling definitely It's what makes country music quite unique, at least in my opinion. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
so this past November, you released your latest song, Wildflower. You also have a
Hmm.
music video for it. I played that song a little bit earlier. I definitely like
Oh,
the
thank you.
song. Talk about the recording of Wildflower and what's it all about.
So that song was actually inspired by my niece who just turned 18 a couple months ago, and as well as one of my really good friends. And these women have just, they've been through a lot, and their stories, although they're very different, they're survivors. And I was just really inspired, and I still am, by just, their grit and being able to come through what they have and come out on the other end, and yet they're just some of the most beautiful, like, sweet, down to earth people. And yeah, it's just, they inspire me, and they certainly inspired the song and the lyrics to Wildflower. And yeah, it's really one of the most rewarding thing about putting music out there is when you get the feedback from people who get it, where they really relate to the lyrics, and just, the women and even men that have reached out after hearing the song, and just really feel like, I've heard people say, like, this is me, like, this is my story, and they've probably been through a lot. And I love hearing that. I love, that people are able to relate in that way. And hopefully maybe, that's their anthem.
It is definitely an anthem indeed, and it is available on all digital music platforms. Wild, Wildflower is the name of the song. Go stream it. Go listen to it. And once you get through listening to it, tell your friends about it. Tell your family members about it. Tell anybody about it that just likes music.
Yes.
Don't 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 hide the good music from your loved ones and your friends. Spread it. Sharing is caring. That's my parents love to say so much. Um, so the music video, you've already did that. That's out as well. You can watch it. Um, so you are part of, in addition to being a solo artist, you are part of an all-female group. And they call themselves the Highway Woman. Um,
That's right.
so talk about you being a part of the group, and how would you describe the type of music that they do compared to your solo stuff?
Well, it is different, just having like four female vocalists. It's really fun because we get to do a lot of different harmonies, and we get to trade off parts. So vocally, that's been really fun. I enjoy a challenge, and I enjoy changing it up. So it's totally different. But yeah, we just released "God Made Me Right," was our latest single, and then we're actually getting ready next week to record the music video for our next single that we'll be releasing next month. So a lot happening. I mean, it's been fun to be a part of this group. Like, we're booking tour dates and just getting busier and busier all the time. But it's just, it's really, really fun. I love, the material we're putting out there, and just the response we're getting from that. I mean, it's been fun to watch. But yeah, definitely listen to "God Made Me Right," and go check that out. Under the Highway Woman.
The Highway Woman, name of the song's called God Made Me Right. That song is also available on all digital music platforms. And
Yes, And we also released a music video for that one as well.
Yeah, the music video is out for it as well, so go check that out as well. So y'all definitely are in for quite a 2020. Not only you got more music on the way, but I'm hearing that y'all are gonna be touring in the
Yeah.
summer and the fall. Uh, and as a guy that lives in the state of Kentucky, I'm just saying, whoever booked the shows, I mean, if y'all can bring these lovely ladies to somewhere in the state of Kentucky, I would really appreciate it. It's just a
Oh, yeah.
suggestion. I'm just saying. I've already, I've already interviewed Heather, and I've interviewed Kristen, who just moved to Nashville officially recently. So congrats to her on
Yeah.
that. So what else is in store for you as far as this year and in the next few weeks? You got any like upcoming solo shows or anything in particular?
Um, let's see. Yeah, I play around Nashville, like every week. Let's see, my next show, that is a good question. Let me see what my next one is. I know I'm shooting a commercial Friday for, Thursday for Yamaha. So that kind of popped up. So I'm excited about that. So you never know. Things like that kind of come your way. But yeah, I play locally, and you can check out my calendar of shows at drewhaley.com. I keep that up to date, and yeah, I'll be booking a lot more things like towards the summer, and we got CMA Fest coming up. It's about to get crazy time in Nashville.
So I've had some friends that are singer songwriters themselves that lived in Lexington, and they've made the jump or made the move per se to Nashville or nearby Nashville, and it's definitely a huge pond. You know, it is the mecca for country music, and I always like to use this analogy. Like, you can go to a grocery store in Nashville somewhere, and you run into a country singer and not even know it. Um,
Oh, yeah.
that's just tells you how huge the scene is here in Nashville. What would your advice be to the inspiring upcoming artists out there that's just trying to get their sales heard? What would your advice be?
Well, I would say you really have to stick to it, because you have to be prepared to fail again and again and again. It's one of those things that it's not just about talent. It's not just about look. It's not just about you can really like come to town and check off all the boxes of what you think that you got to have to make it. But I think what really sets most people apart, and the friends of mine in the industry that I've seen, make it pretty far, have been the ones that just stick with it, and they just refuse to give up. I would say if this truly is like your passion and what you were put on this earth to do, and this is all you want to do, then just don't take no for an answer, because you're going to go through a lot of no's again and again. Like, not everybody's going to love you. Not everybody's going to love your songs or your voice, and that's just part of it. And that's okay. Like, you have to have that mindset. I think that's very important, is to kind of like, that your headspace has to be right. You really have to decide that, no, you just refuse to take, but of course, you want to listen to constructive criticism, of course, like you have to, and that's the thing about moving to this town, like it will challenge you to be better and better. It really will. Like, you'll want to play better. You'll want to sing better. You'll want to write better. Because, you really have to keep evolving and keep growing. But, that would be my advice to anyone moving here, is don't expect, for things to just fall in your lap overnight. I mean, be prepared to put in the work because you really do got to work your butt off for it.
Everything you just said is absolutely true. Um, you know, we all go through ups and downs in life, but it's how you handle it. It's how you deal with adversity. Um, being an artist is definitely, an independent, unsigned artist. You definitely will go through hurdles. You put in the hard work. You dedicate yourself. You work on your craft. Um, you know, things will eventually work out. It just takes time. It's a marathon, not a
Yeah,
sprint. So,
absolutely. Yep.
so it's just something to keep in mind. And you definitely bring up a valid point about constructive criticism, because we all handle criticism differently. And we get
Mhm.
all and get a little defensive every now and then. But there are people that's willing to help, give you insight, and show you, some ways here and there. But you better be ready to deal with some constructive criticism, regardless of artist that you are. Cause
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always tell people a story about when I was sitting in this songwriter workshop, and there were all these hit writers, that were there at the workshop that were, speaking. And one of them, I cannot remember his name, but he really encouraged us to just write from our heart and to just like pour out, like be very vulnerable. That was his thing, like be very vulnerable in your writing. And anyway, I was so inspired that night I went home and I wrote a song, and it was called A Better Version of Me. And the next day when I let him listen to it and I played it for the class, and the and the publisher and the hit writer, they kind of joked about the song. Like there was a line in the song that they thought was funny, and they picked fun of it. And then they kind of picked it apart after that. And I was like, oh, my God, I was humiliated. Part of me was like, okay, this is why people don't want to get vulnerable in their songwriting, because you're going to pick it apart, But anyway, I was like, this is when I had first moved to town, and I was really green. I had not gotten, I hadn't toughed it out yet. So I remember feeling like humiliated, like I can't believe they just did that to my song. Like I was so proud of that song, and they just like laughed at it. But that was the perfect example, really, of just having to, have some tough skin and just be ready to. Yeah, you do everything he said was right about writing. You do want to be transparent and real and write about what you know, and being vulnerable. You got to do that, and. Some of the best songs are going to come that way. But just be prepared that, whatever reaction comes out of that, you never know. But yeah, that was when I first moved to town. I think I'd have handled it a lot differently today, but it happens.
who are these individuals? I need to hunt them down or something. oh, I get maybe people like to critique songs, but to critique a line, like, I mean, every now and then you have a line that caught people off guard or whatever, but I'm like, yeah, but I get what you're saying. Like, that was the early stages of your time in Nashville, so, I get it. People will
Yeah.
look things a bit
Yeah.
differently. So drewhaley.com is your website. Go check that out for all the music and upcoming shows. Be on the lookout for the Highway Woman as well. God Made Me Right is the new song that just came out, available on all digital music platforms. And support independent music, support your local artists, and support this lovely lady in Drew Haley and her incredible bandmates in the Highway Woman. They definitely look like gonna be blowing up in your radio stations in the future, for sure. It was great chatting with you, Drew. Thank you so much for your time. Continued success, and
Thank you, honey.
much love, and hopefully the Highway Woman will be headed to Kentucky.
Yes,
At some
we're going to
point.
make it your way for sure.
So